potato chips. And believe me, once you've made these, you're going to want to make them all the time. They are so much nicer than the store-bought ones. So let's get started. So what we're going to do is get started here by peeling the potatoes. Now you really don't have to peel these, you can leave the skins on. I just think they look a little nicer with them off. And you're best using a fairly low starch potato such as a russet or Yukon Gold, but you can use just about any potato you want. So after the potatoes are peeled, you're going to grab your slicer and slice the potatoes into fairly thin strips. I only paid about $4 or $5 for this, and it works perfect. You can slice these by hand too using a knife. You're just not going to get the consistent thickness. So the slicer makes life a lot easier. This is about what you want here, a nice thinly cut potato. After you've done that, go ahead and get them into a bowl of water. What I'm doing here is just kind of taking my hands and moving them around because you want to get out as much starch as possible. Then we're going to put the potatoes into a colander and give them a good rinse. What you're going to do now is put them back into a bowl of cold water, add in a couple of tablespoons of salt, then give them a little stir here. And leave them set for, I'd say, about 30 minutes. After about half an hour, I'm just going to take the potatoes out here and set them on a paper towel. Put another paper towel over the top and just kind of pat them down. You want these as dry as possible because we're going to fry these and we don't want spats when we're frying. At this point in time, what you want to do is heat your oil up, and you want it about 350 degrees. Now you can use a candy thermometer, but what I usually do is just put a potato in, and if it kind of sizzles up, you know the oil's ready. I'm just using a pan here, and I've got about 1.5 inches of oil in it. Of course, you can use a deep fryer if you have one. So we'll just place the potatoes in batches, and I've got about 8 slices in here, but it really depends on the size of your pan. And I'm going to fry these over medium heat, and that should maintain the temperature of your oil for about 2–2.5 minutes, just until they turn a nice golden brown. And I should mention that there are a couple of different ways you can do these. You can bake them, do them in the microwave. I've tried them all, and frying by far produces the best results for me. While the potatoes are frying, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a comment because I really enjoy reading your comments. Until they look something like this is just about perfect. So what we're going to do is take them out and put them on a plate lined with a paper towel. Of course, you're going to continue to fry the rest of your potatoes this way. Once the potatoes are done, we're just going to season them up. I'm just using a bit more salt here, but you can use whatever your taste buds are calling out for. And there you have it. And look at this, guys. Nicely colored, crispy, flavorful potato chips. A great snack for when you're watching movies.
Hey there. I didn't hear you come in. My name is Chef Ben Yakis, and I'm here today to teach you how to make artisanal, authentic, gourmet pizza bagels. After today, you'll never have to spend another dime on bagel bites. Because when pizza's on a bagel that you make, you can have pizza anytime. Today, I'm going to show you how to make delicious pizza bagels at home using simple ingredients that you can get around your neighborhood. They're easy to make, filling, relatively cheap, and sure to blow the minds of all the people who said you couldn't even toast a bagel, because I believe in you. The first thing you're going to want to do is set up all of your ingredients and accoutrements before you start cooking. We have a plate of bagels, we have different kinds of cheeses, we have tomato sauce, and all of the different toppings and spices that you're going to use. We also have some very good friends here with us, including Nigel, the Good Luck Tiki doll, and whiskey. For laypersons like myself and perhaps you, it can be very intimidating. I find that the key to getting over some of that is to give yourself a little reward. So I like to give myself a little bit of whiskey. Now, the most important thing with the bagels is that you don't really want frozen bagels if you can help it. You want to go to your local bagel place and get some fresh bagels. Just the flavor is just so radically different like that. We're gonna cut our bagels and we're gonna spread them out on the sheet. You're gonna wanna take your olive oil and just sprinkle a tiny bit of olive oil on each of the bagels. The next thing you wanna do is you wanna take your tomato sauce. So what I do is I do a layer spreading out all along the bagels with the tomato sauces. Feel free to experiment a little bit. This should be fun. Put a little bit of cheese on, not too much. You don't wanna cover it up the way you covered it up with the tomato sauce. Try to slice the pepperoni as thin as you can. For the next layer, you're gonna put like a good amount of cheese. You wanna get a mix of the cheese. You wanna have a lot of different flavors going on here. To that, we get a drink. Now here's the big secret, the one that nobody wants you to know about. You take some Doritos, you crumple them up, and you use them like this, just like a spice. People are gonna say, what is this extra flavor that I'm tasting? It's just so vivacious. And you should just say it's a secret, but it's not a secret, it's Doritos. I'm gonna take this and put it in the oven. I think you deserve a reward. You want to make sure that the cheese on top is golden brown, but not burnt. It's so good. I'm not a great cook, but I know how to make some things. I know how to make some people happy, and you can be that too. Pizza bagels, they might not be pizza, they might not be bagels, but they're delicious.
Up eating these. We also call them gorilla poops. I'm sure you guys have a name. Tell us what you guys would call your no-bake cookies, because there's a whole
gorilla poops for us.
We want to know. And then we've got s'mores bark, really simple, just a couple ingredients.
Yeah.
And then our last recipe is chocolate fondue in your Instant Pot. So really easy. I love using your Instant Pot for that. It's perfect.
Exactly. All right, let's get started. All right, so the first recipe we're making is the s'mores bark. Now, I love this recipe because it's like s'mores. It literally is all the ingredients for s'mores.
You're not gonna smell like a campfire, but you still get s'mores.
Exactly, so it's super simple. So first we're gonna take just a bag of chocolate chips. You can use any brand. We like to use Hershey's brand, it's one of my favorites.
I feel like it melts well too.
Yeah, and if you like dark chocolate, you can make this with dark, but I like milk chocolate. All right, so we're gonna stick this in the microwave and go about every 30 seconds. We're going to stir until it's completely melted. Okay, so everything's all melted, ready to go. Now we put some parchment paper down. I've also done wax paper. You can do foil paper, maybe spray it, but parchment or wax, I feel works the best. So we're just gonna take the chocolate chips and just dump them right on. Make sure I get all the chocolate. Now you can make this as thick or thin as you want. You can add more chocolate chips, but we're just doing the 2 cups today. All right, then the goal is to spread this thin. I like it thin because it's more of a bark.
Yeah.
But you
can
make
feed
it
more
thicker.
people that way if
Exactly.
serve more anyway.
Exactly.
Or you don't feel as bad when you have 20 pieces.
No control. All right, what do you think? How do you think of this?
That's good.
Okay.
So it almost fills up the whole sheet pan.
Yes, and if you did more, if you did like 3 cups or 3.5 cups, I think is what the recipe calls for, you would literally fill up the whole pan, but we're just doing a little today.
Yeah.
Okay, you can add the next stuff.
Okay, so we're just topping it with graham crackers that have been broken up.
So I took 4 graham crackers and just broke them all up, and then just
kind of coarsely. They don't need to be perfect.
Exactly, because you think about it, it's going to be bark, so you're going to break it all apart, so it really won't matter how
just want to
pretty
make
it looks
sure
right now.
It's sticking.
Yes.
It's in the chocolate. Okay.
Yes. All right, while you do that, I'll do some marshmallows. Kind of just do it in your cracks.
Smells like s'mores.
It literally tastes just like s'mores. Obviously, you're using
and you're not going to have to wash your hair. That's the worst part about fire. Your hair absorbs all the smell.
It is. Okay, so now that we got most of it, I'm just going to go and just like pat everything down, just so it won't fall apart as you're breaking apart your bark.
So to finish off the s'mores bark, we just need some marshmallow cream. Just use about half this container, and you're going to soften it in the microwave until it is runny enough that you can kind of drizzle it on top as a garnish.
Now, just word of warning, in the microwave it will kind of puff up, and as soon as it puffs up, that's when you want to pull it out, and you'll just start mixing it, and it will become like stretchy, like the gooey marshmallow stuff.
A little thinner.
Exactly.
Okay. So this was 20 seconds in the microwave. You can see it's a little puffy. We'll just kind of mix it until it's a little more liquefied.
Yes, yes, just keep mixing and then it will be pretty gooey. Now it's a little hard to drizzle, but it'll come. So I kind of just did that, and then it doesn't have to be pretty because it's bark. It doesn't matter, so. Nice, you're doing great. You're doing much better than I did.
Here. Oh, that's gonna be a marshmallow.
I want that bite. I want that bite. All right, and that's literally all there is to it. So we're gonna stick this in the freezer. It works better in the freezer because it hardens a lot faster. Because if it's kind of warm in your house, the chocolate will get a little soft. So I would suggest keep it in your freezer before you're ready to serve it. All right, stick it in.
Okay. So we took our s'mores bark out of the freezer, broke it up into pieces. You can see they're not uniform. They don't have to be perfect. It looks so cute.
It looks so cute. All right,
try it?
Try it.
Oh, that's good.
That is good.
Tastes like summer.
Right? Just without the fire.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the next recipe.
The second no-bake recipe we're making is our gorilla poops, or no-bake cookies, whatever you call them. This was a staple in our home growing up, still is with our own families.
I swear, like, maybe once a month. No, maybe more than that. Maybe every other week. We are making gorilla
Because they're
poops.
so easy. And you probably have all these ingredients you need to make them right now.
Exactly.
So do it. Okay, so you'll have a saucepan over medium-high heat. And to that, I'm just adding 2 tablespoons of butter. That may be a little closer to high heat right there.
It's okay, we're gonna do brown butter today.
And 2 cups of sugar. And then we're adding a 1/4 cup of milk.
And then 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder.
And you just want to mix this together until it starts boiling.
Right.
This is the tricky part with no-bake cookies. If you've had a dry no-bake cookie, it means it probably boiled for too long. Right?
Yeah, boiled for too long, or you did not add enough liquid.
Okay.
Okay, we're just gonna add a little bit of vanilla. We're gonna eyeball this. It's like a 1/2 teaspoon or so. And then just a little bit of salt. What is it, like 1/2 teaspoon of salt?
1/2 teaspoon of salt.
Okay, I'm gonna eyeball that too, because that's how we work.
So this usually takes a couple minutes just to kind of incorporate everything and
Yep.
get it to the right temperature to boil.
Exactly. And you don't want like little tiny bubbles when you boil. You want
A
big rolling
Okay.
boil.
So you can see it's boiling now.
It
Big
smells
rolling boil.
so good.
So as soon as it boils, do we let it go for a minute?
Yeah, just for like a minute or so, and then
Take
pop
it
it
off
off.
the heat.
Yep.
Okay, this has been going for a little bit, so we'll take it off. And it'll still boil for a second, so just be careful, it's hot.
Yeah. But while it is still burning hot, that's when you want to add your peanut butter. So we're gonna add what, 3/4 cup?
Yes.
Okay.
And this is just easier to eyeball.
The good thing, this recipe is very forgiving,
Yeah.
so we eyeball a lot with this.
So 3/4 cup, we just use a creamy peanut butter. You could use crunchy. We've done that
Yeah,
before.
and it just
and
has
it's
a
so
little bit of
good.
nuts, but I prefer creamy.
Yeah. You'll get texture from the oats. So
Exactly.
Okay.
All right, so while the peanut butter is mixing, we like to use the quick 1-minute oats because the oats are a little bit smaller and it makes your cookie just taste a little bit better. So once all the peanut butter is melted, we're just gonna add the 2 cups of oats.
I like the texture from the quick oats too.
Me too. Because sometimes if you use just the normal oat milk, it's just too big. Like, yeah, I like the little oats.
So this starts setting up pretty quick after it's all mixed.
Yeah, so you kind of gotta mix quickly.
And it's good to have your pan ready to go. We have a baking sheet, a cookie sheet that we've just put some foil on. You could use wax paper or parchment paper too.
Yeah.
But as soon as that oatmeal is coated,
So growing up, our mom would always take a spoon and do it with her finger, but your finger is burning the whole time that you're making them. So we figured out if you just use a cookie scoop, 1, all your cookies will be the same. And 2, there's no burning of fingers here. It just makes it go by quick and easy.
and they hold their shape pretty well. So
Yes.
the size of your scoop is the size that your cookies will be.
Yeah, and we use a giant one because
The bigger go do an ice cream scoop.
I mean, and if you don't have a cookie scoop, you could easily just spoon it out too, but we like them all to be about the same size.
And they'll set up pretty quickly at room temperature, but if you wanted to eat them sooner, they're good hot, they're good warm and gooey.
Yeah.
But you can stick them in your fridge for a couple minutes too.
Exactly.
I always loved rainy days because we'd come home and there'd be foil on the counter and our mom had no-bake cookies out and it was
Right.
like, we wouldn't even wait for them to set up and you can like see the mark left on the foil when you take one, like who ate one?
Right, I even remember like you walk into the garage and you know that mom made these gorilla poops. You could smell them from a mile away. All right.
So we're just gonna let these set up for a little bit until they're cool and can hold their shape, and then we're gonna eat them. Well, we tried to wait until they cooled down, but I'm just going for it. They smell too good. This is kind of actually the temperature I like them.
Me too.
So good.
Put even like